Hello, BookTube. Who's up for a mail haul? Let's dig into this pile of packages and see if there's anything in here that is worth celebrating. We'll start with this first one here. Dean, are you on the case? Are you on the case? No, you're not. All right. Let's see. What have we got here first? Oh, you are. Okay. Yes. Oh. Oh. There you go. Okay. All right. First one is a novel. Finished copy. Comes out in April, I believe. Yes, in April. This is by James Lasden. It's called Afternoon of a Faun. And let's see here. It plays out against the backdrop of Donald Trump's infamous Access Hollywood interview and the months leading up to the 2016 election, as the author dramatizes one man's search for truth after his friend is suddenly accused by an old flame, known to both of them, of sexual assault from decades ago. Okay. All right. This has, let's see, this is an author who has never really done anything for me. He works industriously. He is respected in the field. He gets the right awards, the right attention. I'm sure this book will get critical attention. I don't think I even got an advance copy of this thing. I will just give it another try. That's all. There's nothing else I can do. I mean, he's to me, he seems like the quintessential mid 20th century mid-list author. Someone who would never rise to in any kind of known status. Would just be pump out half a century of books, teach somewhere the whole time, garner a couple of prestigious but unknown awards, and then retire to a quiet grave. And I don't think we have authors like that anymore, or at least not as many as we used to. So I've never known quite what to do with his books. I will give this one another try and see. Let's move on here. It's a sort of a low-key beginning to this mail haul, but the mail haul ends in not one, not two, but 3 boxes. So let's see. Ooh. Okay, we're back on track. That's good. This comes out in late May from the great Yale University Press, and it's by Graham Ruxton, and it's called Nature's Giants. The biology and evolution of the world's largest life forms. Fantastic. In this book, Yale biologist Graham Ruxton explains how and why some organisms came to be so big. Ruxton shows how decreased oxygen levels have limited the size of insects and how island isolation sometimes allows small-bodied animals to evolve larger body sizes. We learn why the largest birds are flightless and why large predators are less populous in any system than small prey. Ruxton investigates in detail some of the biggest creatures, both extinct and extant, sharing reams of facts sure to delight and captivate the curious. I love it. That's exactly what I go to this book for. Great. Okay, so this comes out in late May. It's going to have a huge amount of color. Oh, and one of the things I really like, size comparisons with humans. In this case, a giant arthropoid slug at the bottom of the sea that was as big as a person and armored and fanged and whatnot. But this will have lots of other things too. Fantastic. Okay, fantastic. I'm a huge fan. I was a huge fan, probably, 50 years ago, of a book that achieved a pleasant degree of widespread notoriety when it came out. When I originally heard about it, I thought, no one's going to read this but me. It was a book called Why Big, Fierce Animals Are Rare. And I loved it. And it caught on. It had a vogue for a season. And this is, I wonder if it'll get mentioned in here. I'll have to... Oh, well, no, this is... Wow, okay, this is the finished book, except for the... This has the index, it has the bibliography, it has color photos. It's just the finished book. It's just not a hardcover. Interesting. I wonder if it'll reference that book, or if everything in that book is outdated by now. Probably it is. But anyway, let's see. Let's move on to this next one. I think Frida has quit on the job here. What have we got next here? This is by John Douglas and Mark Olshaker, and it is The Killer Across the Table. Unlocking the secrets of serial killers and predators with the FBI's Manhunters. Okay. So this comes out in early May. It's not an early April book, and that's great. I have a sweet tooth for this sort of thing. I don't know that actually unlocking the secrets is possible. I've studied all the major serial killers of, for instance, the 20th century in America. We produced a bumper crop of them, of course, as you would expect. And I don't notice a whole lot of unifying characteristics. I read profiles of them in books like this, and the profiles are always trying to underscore similarities, and I don't often see them. There are as many that don't apply as that do, which I think has led a lot of people to think that profiling itself is a bunco job, that it's a fake occupation. I don't know. This is squarely in that area, so I will read it with delight. Let's move on here. What is this next one? Oh, very good. Okay. All right. This is a double. It's something we've seen on this channel before. This is the lovely advanced copy of the Ventriloquist by E.R. Ramzapur. This is her big, sumptuous debut novel. That has, I read the description just a couple of days ago, so I don't think I need to read it again. But this is a historical novel taking place during World War II, about a group of people who put out a fake newspaper to mock the Nazis, which is not an occupation you grew old in it. And this is in August. This comes out in late August, when the summer will be over. And I don't know about the timing there, but I read the book. I couldn't put it down, and I loved it. I'm glad to have a second copy, and I'm glad that that I'm presumably on the list for a finished copy much later in the summer. But I do already recommend it. When you see this in your bookstores or in your library, and you're wondering, you need wonder no longer. It is really, really good. All right, now we've got some of these boat-like white things, and then we'll move on to the boxes. Total silence on the bed. The bean is not interested in pursuing any of these things. Oh, great. Okay. I don't know if we saw this on this channel or not, but again, this is one that I read, and I really liked it. This is a memoir, translated from the French by Emma Ramadan. This is by Delphine Minouy, and it is I'm Writing You from Tehran, a granddaughter's search for her family's past and their country's future. I'm Writing You from Tehran. I believe this is an April book. April 2nd. Yeah. It's a memoir. Let's see here. Okay, the pub sheet has nothing but blurbs. Publishers Weekly loved it. Kirkus Reviews loved it. But I thought I would tell you a little about the book here. In the wake of losing her beloved grandfather, the author decided to visit Iran for the first time since the revolution. It was 1998. She was 22 and freshly minted journalist. She would stay for 10 years. Quickly absorbed into the everyday life of the city, the author attends secret dance parties that are raided by the morality police and dines in the home of a young couple active in the Bajij, the fearsome militia. She befriends veteran journalists battling government censorship, imprisoned student poets, and her own grandmother, a woman who is discovering the world of international affairs through her contraband satellite TV. And so it is all the more crushing when the political situation falters. The author joins street protests teeming with students hungry for change and is interrogated by the secret police. She sees a mirrored rise in love of country, the yearning patriotism of the left, the militant nationalism of the right. Friends disappear. Others might be tracking her movements. She finds love, loses her press credentials, marries, and is separated from her husband by an erupting global conflict. Through it all, her love for Iran and its people deepens. In her family's past, she discovers a mission that will shape her entire future. Now, some of that jacket copy is, standard boilerplate, but this really does work on you. First of all, you can tell that the author is a practiced writer. A lot of times in memoirs like this, you can't tell that because they're not. But in this case, this is truly effective. I'm wondering what kind of, naturally, as always, I'm wondering what kind of review attention it will get next month. I don't know off the top of my head anyone who is thinking of reviewing it, and that's a shame. I will review it. It deserves it. It's really, really good. Honest, but not pandering, especially not pandering to a Western American audience that will want such an author to renounce patriotism. That doesn't ever happen, and that's refreshing. So let's see, what is Oh, goodness gracious. All right. This is a Harlequin romance. This comes out in June. I seem to be on more and more romance mailing lists, and that's fine by me. And let's see here. This is an Amish romance. This is Amish Outsider by Marta Perry. Let's see here. And she's a beloved author. She begins a brand new romantic series with her captivating new novel. Michael Forster's successful life in the English world. This does not mean England. One of the many, many, many psychotically weird things about the Amish is that they refer to anyone who's, the older members of the community refer to anyone who's not Amish as English. That does not mean that this is England. This probably takes place in Pennsylvania. Anyway, his life in the English world falls apart when he's arrested for his estranged wife's murder. Freed due to a lack of evidence, Michael seeks sanctuary in the Amish community he fled as a teen and finds himself falling for his daughter's teacher. When his past comes back to haunt him, Michael will have to risk everything to protect his daughter and the woman he loves. And this is not just Amish romance. This is also a very light touch Amish romance thriller. The Amish series, they're just phenomenally popular. And I confess, I've read a lot of them, and some of them I find enjoyable, but I've never understood why they're popular. I never have. I think that if you dig down deep enough in this phenomenon, you will find something profoundly unhealthy. And I don't want to do that. I've never actually dug down. I haven't read enough of these books to really make a systematic reading of them. But these are phenomenally popular romances, phenomenally popular with female readers. And the female readers love the world, the imagined world of the Amish. The horrible parts of the Amish world are never in these books, ever. But the female readers of these books love that world, and there's something off there. There's something that doesn't line up there, because that world is a world in which women have virtually no choice in anything. They marry and they have children. They cannot ever own their own business, run their own shops, communicate with the outside world. They are good daughters, good wives, good grandmothers, and then good and dead. And that should not appeal to a 21st century female readership, I would think. I don't see what the wish fulfillment. There's wish fulfillment going on here, obviously, somehow. But I don't know quite what it is. I have heard it. The anodyne excuses that I've heard are that the readers just love to go to a world where technology is not impinged. Okay. And I don't know that I believe that. You could go to, an island in the Leeward Islands that's gorgeous and where women are not systematically subjugated by a theocracy, and just turn off your cell phones. But I will read this because like I say, I read them anyway, and some of them I actually enjoy. So it's not to get out of the question. Let's see what this next one is. This is a couple of books. Okay. There are more Harlequin romances. Oh, fantastic. All right. So the first one is a trade paperback. This comes out in mid-June, and it is by Laurie Foster, and it is Sisters of Summer's End. No humans on the cover. Steve approves. Let's see here. This is a moving story of the friendships and love that sustains us. Joy Lee is a wealthy single mom who's estranged from her family and wants to give her 5-year-old son the kind of support she never had. Maris Kennedy grew up with unconditional love from her family and little else, and now that they're all gone, she's trying to find her way. But this summer, Joy and Maris will become sisters of the heart, learning that the best families are made, not given, and that love is just around the corner. And this is set in it doesn't say it on the cover, but the pub sheet says it's set in the same lakeside resort as Cooper's Charm, which came out last year, and I believe I read. I believe I read it, and I believe I liked it. Okay, so this is a friendship novel. It comes out from Harlequin, but I've read a few of this kind of thing, and the friendship is very much in the foreground. The romance really does tag along behind, and I find that fascinating. Okay, boy, oh boy, who is this B.J. Daniels? Okay, this is yet another B.J. Daniels novel. We've seen, I think, I'm looking at my romance shelf now. I think we've seen 3 of these in rapid succession. This author must have written all of these ahead of time. and then just, because it's not physically possible to write and get it edited. Anyway, this is the next Sterling's Montana book. This is Just His Luck. I think they all have luck in the title. Yeah, well, one of them was Luck of the Draw. That's the one I'm looking at here. There's another one, too, that had luck in the title, I think, that I'm not seeing. But anyway, this is B.J. Daniels. This is Sterling's Montana, the latest Sterling's Montana novel, Just His Luck. And this comes out in late August. These are all over the summer. Wow. Shade Sterling has carried a torch for Lizzie Connors since senior year in high school. But the timing never felt just right, especially since his ex-girlfriend Ariel disappeared without a trace years ago. Now, with their 10-year-old class reunion approaching, Shade is tired of waiting. Determined to move on with his life and take a chance with Lizzie, he's all in until a car is dredged up from a local pond and Ariel's remains are found inside. You might remember that my descriptions of a couple of the other books in this series were also romance, but with some decidedly real-world stuff impinging. Some intrigue or crime, even. I like that. This author does that really well. So this is yet another. I wonder how long this series is going to be. Do we have a list of them? Stroke of Luck, Luck of the Draw, and Just His Luck. And we've seen all of those on this channel. I believe they've come out in rapid succession in the last few months. All right, so those are the last of the packages. Bunch of romances. Now we go on to the boxes. See, I know what I want a couple of these to be, but you can't ever make that, so... Oh, okay, fantastic. All right. We saw this on the channel. This is a finished copy of an April book about John Adams and John Quincy Adams, The Problem of Democracy. This is by Nancy Eisenberg and Andrew Burstein, and it's about the country's first father-son presidential duo and the country that they encountered. The country that John Adams was the president who encountered a country that had to decide about its political structure, its very basic political structure, including political parties, which you couldn't really say existed under Washington. But what do we see here? John and John Quincy Adams, rogue intellectuals, unsparing truth-tellers, too uncensored for their own political good. They held that political participation demanded moral courage. They did not seek popularity, and it showed. They lamented the fact that hero worship in America substituted idolatry for results, and they made it clear that they were talking about Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Andrew Jackson. And this is, the publisher describes this book as a bold recasting of their historical roles. Fantastic. Great. And I am, at the moment, slated to review this for the Christian Science Monitor, so I'm glad to have a finished copy. I don't think my advanced copy has all of the bells and whistles that I really want it to have. So that's when you're reviewing a book, an index can come in really handy. I mean, I'm not crucially handy in a book like this because I'm sure I will learn a lot. I dipped my toe into the advanced copy and I liked it quite a bit. And then I thought I'll hold off until I have the critical apparatus to refer to. I liked it quite a bit. I'm sure that I will learn a lot from this book, but I won't learn anything about John Quincy Adams or his time. So it'll be a question of how the authors use this material. And realistically speaking, I probably don't need the bibliography and the notes to write an 800-page review of this book that will tell you not the two important things, whether or not what the strengths and weaknesses of the book are and what I thought of it compared to other things that I've read, to give you the best idea possible of whether or not this is worth your money, because this is going to be $40, yes? $35, $47 in Canada. But I'm glad to have the finished copy. It'll go on the work shelf. It won't go anywhere else. It'll go straight here in this room. All right, let's go on to this next one. It is heavy, whatever it is. She really keeps pouncing down on the floor, but then she doesn't do anything. She pounces down on the floor and then doesn't do anything. What are you doing, baby? You want to eat that or not? Oh. Oh. Oh, my. Okay. This is indeed heavy. It's a big book. It's by Marion Turner, and it's called Chaucer, A European Life. Oh, no. What a cover. A period map and the ocean. No stereotypical Chaucer with the stocking cap. Wow. Okay, this comes out in late April. More than any other canonical English writer, Geoffrey Chaucer lived and worked at the center of political life. Absolutely true. Right in the center of court. But the only reason that that is true is because Ariosto is no longer a canonical European writer, unfortunately. He was just as close to the power of his own court, but we'll press on. Certainly no one gets more canonical than Chaucer. Yet his poems are anything but conventional. Edgy, complicated, and often dark, they reflect a conflicted world, and their astonishing diversity and innovative language earned Chaucer renown as the father of English literature. The author, however, reveals him as a great European writer and thinker. To understand his accomplishments, she reconstructs in unprecedented detail the cosmopolitan world of his adventurous life, focusing on the places and spaces that fired his imagination. Oh my. The pub sheet goes on to say that this book uncovers important new information about Chaucer's travels, private life, and early circulation of his writing. I will have to see that to believe it. I mean, it doesn't speak at all to what kind of energetic job the author will do. But I will be amazed if there's anything new in here. That would be. I think more likely is that the author's approach to what is old is innovative, rather than that the author is using new stuff. But either way, the handful of old friends of mine who are watching this channel are seeing that we have just gone from a John Quincy Adams biography to a Chaucer biography, and they're rolling their eyes. As well they should, but I'm trying to control myself here. And then we have the last box, and then we'll be done with this mail haul. In which case, I will then shut off the camera and immediately curl up with Chaucer. A gigantic 700-page biography of Geoffrey Chaucer. All right, so what is this next one? How it could top Chaucer, I don't know. Okay, all right, okay. This comes out in late April as well, and this is a new translation of Julius Caesar's The Gallic War. Okay, so the boxes in this mail haul really carried their weight. This is translated by James O'Donnell, who wrote a biography of Augustus. Oh no, of St. Augustine. St. Augustine, he wrote a really, really good biography of St. Augustine. I just loved it. It got weirdly beaten up in the religious press, in places like the Tablet, I think, or religious venues, but I thought it was fantastic. It's, in my opinion, despite the heresy of preferring anything to Peter Brown, I think that his biography of St. Augustine is the best one. And this is his translation of Caesar's Commentaries. All right, what do we got here? Imagine a book about an unnecessary war written by the ruthless general of an occupying army. A vivid and dramatic propaganda piece that forces the reader to identify with the conquerors, and that is designed, like the war itself, to fuel the limitless political ambitions of the author. Okay, we're on the same page so far. Could such a campaign autobiography ever be a great work of literature? Perhaps even one of the greatest? No, it could not. It would be easy to think not, but such a book exists. Okay, and it helped transform Julius Caesar from a politician on the make into the Caesar of legend. Okay. All right, well, this is a brand new translation of the Gallic War. Incredible. Incredible. All right, so this mail haul really ended well. So I am going to be writing about all of these things, and that's a wonderful feeling. All right, so we have the War for Gaul, a really talented biographer turning his hand to a translation of a seminal Latin text. Then a gigantic new biography of Geoffrey Chaucer, a continental biography. Then The Problem of Democracy, which is really the problem of the Adams family. And where did John Quincy Adams fit in the birth and early years of American democracy? Then, okay, how are we going to do this so this doesn't fall all over the place? The Killer Across the Table, a new book about profiling serial killers. The Ventriloquist, a fantastic new historical novel set in World War II that comes out at the end of the summer. I'm Writing You from Tehran, a very moving memoir about what do you do when you love your country and it doesn't love you back. Afternoon of a Faun by James Lasden, who's the book that he's written. I've read everything he's ever written, and the thing that he wrote that I loved most of all was his one major work of nonfiction. So go figure. Then some romances. There's Laurie Foster, sister of Summer's End. Then the next Sterling's Montana book, Just His Luck. Then Amish Outsider, a new Amish romance thriller. And finally, it won't fit on the pile, Nature's Giants, a new heavily illustrated study of big animals in nature, why they got that way and what it means for them to be that way. That is fantastic. I am fascinated by all of these things. So I've got lots of entertaining reading to do, and some of these are finished copies, so I can dig right into them right away. Some of them are finished copies, and even the ones that aren't have fairly near publication dates, so I am totally free to dive right in. So I will do that. But first, I think we've got another video or two to do. But then they're all mine. So I will wrap this up for now. But I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.